So your brain, your reality is almost like a hallucination, and it's simply constrained by the world, physical world, and your body. The mind is predicting everything it possibly can as fast as it can to help keep you alive. That's its job. That's its primary job, is to keep your body alive.
Welcome to Charge Forward Coaching, the podcast for committed athletes and individuals who want to achieve more on and off the field. Hosted by James Blasco, certified mental toughness and resilience coach. You'll gain insights and inspiration from elite athletes, coaches, and others who know what it takes to excel. Are you ready to go to the next level? Then tune in, get inspired, and let's charge forward. Now here's your host, James Blasco.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Charge Forward Coaching Podcast. I'm your host, James Blasco. Thanks for joining. So today we have a super interesting topic. The topic we're going to go over in detail as much as we can here in a few minutes is predictive processing. Now you might be saying, what the heck is that? What does it have to do with mental toughness? Well, it has almost everything to do with it. It has a lot to do with confidence, your confidence and abilities, your interpersonal confidence, but it's really kind of the foundation of mental toughness, and it all has to do with your brain. So most of this information has come from a fantastic book. It's a small book, but it's really good. It's 7.5 lessons about the brain by Lisa Feldman Barrett. And it's an easy read, but be prepared to do a lot of thinking, because she'll bring you in to the reality of how our brain works and how it impacts our body and all the things in between. Okay, so let's talk about what this predictive processing is by starting with how our brain works. Now, this is a super simplified version. There's a lot of books you could study, and I'm sure you could go and even expand your own knowledge. You go back to college and get a degree in this stuff. But we're just going to simplify here so you could take something from it and incorporate it into your life and your goals and what you're trying to do. So by predictive processing, what we mean is this: the mind is predicting everything it possibly can as fast as it can to help keep you alive. That's its job. That's its primary job, is to keep your body alive. So to do that, it works on a couple things. It works on memory and then predicting and communicating to the body. So when we talk about predictive processing, it really zeroes in on what information's going in, how your mind interprets that information, the decision, the prediction that your mind makes to send to your body so you could take action. So it's really cool. And there's a lot of information behind how that works, of course. Here's the thing. If your mind, which by the way, when it's predicting, it's not like just one part of your brain predicts it and it goes on. It's actually multiple parts of your brain have predictions based on the information and the memory that's gone in. And what it does, it picks the best answer it thinks, right, from a prediction standpoint. And that's your reality. That becomes your reality. Most of the time it's right and it's awesome. Sometimes it's wrong. So what happens then? Nothing. It still becomes your reality, even if it's wrong, if that prediction was wrong. So when you begin to think about it, let all that sink in, it's really important that you understand that what you're putting in to your mind, past, present, future, is like extremely important, because that's how your brain's going to work. It's going to work off of the information that comes in, the memories, right? And then it's going to predict behavior based upon the next set of data from the senses, what you see, what you hear, what you touch, all those kind of things, what you smell, and it's going to predict the action you should take. So getting control of that part of your brain's function, which is its primary role, is really important. And you can't really control it, but what you could do is take advantage of knowing how it works. So this becomes really important with confidence, because oftentimes we talk a lot about the internal, discussion we have in our mind and, how we feel about that. And sometimes it's negative. We get down on ourselves. We doubt ourselves. We do all these things. But the mind, your brain, it isn't the one that's really giving you all that information. It's just working off of the information that's going in. So if you change what's going in, the mind is going to begin to change what's going out, because it's going to predict based on what it's already learned, the memory, and the predictive behavior and the actions. And then you're going to get your reality. So your brain, your reality is almost like a hallucination, and it's simply constrained by the world, physical world, and your body. So what are some things you can do? Well, first of all, you need to understand that, again, as you begin to provide more new information, because the predictive side of this deal, that equals learning. So learning, as we all know, is super important. The more you can bring in new information, the memory, the predictive behavior, that learning is going to change. So that means you could change a lot about yourself in kind of simple ways. And we talk about, self-talk. We talk about visualization. All those things are really, really critical, especially from an athletic standpoint, to help develop the memories that develop the predictive behavior. So there's several ways that you could begin to work on this. One of the key ways is, especially in athletics, it's practice, 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 and practice some more. And when you practice, train your mind, your brain, to understand that sometimes you're going to play in the rain. Sometimes you're going to play at night. Sometimes you're going to play in the daytime. It's going to be hot. It's going to be cold. There's stressful situations, right? 2 minutes at the end of a game. You need to practice all of that, because as the mind takes in the information, now it's memory, becomes predictive behavior. It knows how to respond for you. What once took a lot of thinking and walking through the process and how to be, do something correctly or properly or at the highest level, now becomes automatic, because you've practiced and practiced and practiced. And then you start layering in the self-talk and the visualization and rituals and routines, things like that. And all of a sudden, you've just set a whole new course for how your brain, your mind is going to work for you. And that predictive behavior now is working to your advantage, versus it's just random. It's out there, and some of the information it's basing its predictions on is good. Some of it's not good. And who knows where you end up, right? So looking at predictive behavior, now that you have a sense of what it is, you can start to utilize the tools to begin to change the memory, the learning, the predictive processing, and move forward towards your goals. Well, I hope you gained a couple nuggets out of this conversation. Be sure to like and share and subscribe and all that good stuff, but most of all, keep charging forward.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Charge Forward Coaching. Remember, the journey to greatness is built on mental toughness and consistent effort. So head on over to chargeforwardcoaching.com and book a free discovery call to take the next step in your journey. Until next time, stay focused, stay determined, and keep charging forward.